All right, now I'm ready to put the top pieces in and get that together. I do need to glue in the top part, and I'm going to glue in these slides into that part right there first so that I have my joint good and tight. Let me get that done. Okay, just a quick bead of this, not very much, just enough in there to get it done, and then I sprayed it with the accelerator to get that done. So that piece is going to be ready to go in about 10 seconds, and then I'll go ahead and go back over here and assemble this box. The inside bottom doesn't get glued, so I got to keep glue away from that, and that's why I'm using this right here so it doesn't run. All right, got the rest of those all pieces glued in, those other 6. Now I'm going to put the top, slide this in the top, put it in here, and since that's broken, I'm just leaving it apart. It'll glue up solid on the top parts. I don't want any glue on this bottom section, so no glue anywhere from here on down. Get no glue, but the rest of it will all get glued. So let me go ahead and get that done. All right, so I basically just put the dabs around there, pulled it up square. I had the bottom in there while I was gluing it. Of course, it came out as soon as I pulled it, and I'm going to put the top's already in there. Need to double check it, make sure we're good on that. I've already glued it, so I'm stuck with it. But anyway, I think it's in pretty good shape. So anyway, it's glued up. I'm going to take the clamps off of it, and that was 15 seconds gluing up. And then I'll put the 2 screws in the bottom for it to hold the piece together, and put the bottom in with it and the top in with it. We'll sand it a little bit and get her to going. All right, they're starting to come together. I got 2 left. And those are just, they're not even sanded on the outside. Those are just glued and ready to go. And basically, I'm coming back over here to glue up the other one. I basically just dab a dab of this Weldwood on every one of them fingers so that the flats get it, and then of course the other flat, so it's locked in 2 ways. And then after I'm got them totally assembled and everything sliding, before I go to finishing it, I'll fill on the outside just a little bit more to lock it all in just a little bit tighter. But for the biggest part, it'll be glued up. It's pretty tight when I get done with it here in just a couple of minutes. So I'll go around and dab all the ears. Got to keep my glue away from the bottom section here. Got to make sure all my edges are exactly up the way they're supposed to be, because each time I put one of these together, it's like it's a 6-sided puzzle that I've got to put together. They all have to be hidden in the right direction. All the letters got to be in the right direction, and all of the joints have to be in the right direction. And so it's kind of it's a challenging thing, but it's good. And then I just put a little screw in the bottom of those when I get done with it. And let's go to dabbing some glue and getting this clamped up. All right, I got 3 to 5 minutes to get this assembled. Since it's a box joint, it goes up pretty square. I should not have put that glue on there because I could get down there to the end. But other than that, I did a pretty good job. Just put my dabs on there, and let's get her together. Okay, once I get them glued together, the bottom, I'm trying to get the bottom out. Sometimes I just got to put a little bit of a light pry. And you can imagine what them joints would be like if I tightened them all up. Anyway, so I've got it squared. All I've got to do is hit it with a 2P10 and make all of the joints solid in about 10-15 seconds. So let me go ahead and get that done. All right, after assembling all that stuff, all that good old glue is sitting right there on the end of my fingers and my thumbs and my whatever. And between about 4 fingers on each hand, and they've got a bunch of glue on them, as you can see. So I'm gonna pour a little of that acetone right in there and let them soak for just a little bit, and then wipe them off. Alrighty, I had a stack of 6 of those, and basically running them on the bandsaw, a little bull nose out there on the side of it, and coming up with probably 12, I don't know, they're sending 2, so 24 dowels. So I'll use that dowel stalk, stick it up into my little square bins up there, and then I'll use the dowel making jig here one of these days on the table saw when I'm kind of in between things, and we'll turn out a bunch of 3/8 and 1/4-inch dowels depending on what I get out of it. So this is pretty easy cutting. It's a little wide to fit into the blade of the bandsaw, so I'll just quickly cut it in half. Get that out of the way. And just run it down here by the nose of this. So that's a real good way of cutting straight board, pretty straight boards on the bandsaw. Start getting a little steady on, but you just gotta turn it. Of course, I'm not paying much attention to it because I'm watching the video and I'm watching the cut. But for the big part, you can cut a pretty straight, decent, cut with it. And all you gotta do is kind of turn it a little bit. And then you got yourself a nice little square little dowel that will make a wonderful 3/8" dowel. This is 1/2" material. And then I'll do that and throw the rest away and get to the last piece and move on. Alright. Lots of little bitty pieces. I was using that little guy right there on it, and it was not sucking them up near as good as this one is. So, gotta know our limitations, right? Alright, anyway, so there we go. Gas cap's over there. Vacuum's on. Run the old hose up. And generally don't have that kind of trouble, but it's fun, when you're making a video. Anyway, generally it's just a matter of rolling it up pretty fast and going to town, hit the old remote, turn it off, and let's get back to making boxes. Alright, there's 20 19" dowels. There'd be probably 3/8" dowel, walnut and oak, and 24 of them. So it's a pretty good group of dowels. And I'll put them up in the resource area up there for future need. Alright, next thing I do is I just take the screws out of this thing and then turn this around. I generally will make sure that the door will open. Then I go around and I just take this, turn it upside down, and leave it set down like this, leave it up down. And I feel all the little cracks that go around or all the way around it. I feel one little spot, hit it with a 2P10, rotate it, and go on through there until I get it totally covered. And when they're done, filled, that's kind of what they look like. And then I'll lightly sand over the top of that. Them joints will all be nice and tight and solid. And then I'll go into working on those inner boxes. So let's get this last one done. Alright, squared this up at the table, make sure that it was in line. And I'm getting ready to sand these boxes. When I sand them, I keep them flat on the table, and we'll sand them square like this, and keep them always flat on the table so that they'll sand square. Keeping in mind that this fits inside the box, and this fits inside the box, but whatever's on the outside of that may not fit inside the box. So I've got to sand it up. And like I said, just 1, 2, 3 layers on there that way. And 1, 2, 3 layers, 4 layers that way. So there's 4 layers on some of these, and more on the others, 3 on the others. So we're gonna get her sanded up and get it. The test fit is where it fits inside the box. All right, I got a couple sanded. It don't take very long, about 3 or 4 minutes, because they're really tight. All I gotta do is just kind of even up the edges and get her in there. I do have to clean out the inside of the box, make sure there's no funk in the corners, as it is pretty tight. And then again, I was talking about sanding it, and when you're sanding it, make sure that your sander stays true and plumb. So let's get busy sanding some more. All right, when she drops down there just straight down there without a whole lot of complaining, or she'll come out a lot of complaining, then you got it. And the way you know it fits is that slot, hits that slot. So an easy way of making sure that you got it in there right. Let's go that one. But I do have a little bit of a thickness issue. Not much. Let me sand the bottom or the top off just a hair more. Alright, after a couple more hours of sanding, and that's taking the chisel and file, getting inside those boxes, getting all the glue out, making sure that these boxes will slide in from the bottom side, and that they fit. Those boxes are all sanded. smooth on all the edges so that they'll slip down inside the box, no problem. And the only thing we have left to do now is to go ahead and finish the boxes as far as sanding them and then putting a clear coat over them. So we'll get that done, and then it'll just be a matter of fine-tuning the shims. Each one of these shims need to be sanded, and then they're fine-tuned. Sometimes I go in, other times you got to take them apart 3 to 4 times to get them to go. So it's kind of one of them deals that sometimes you got to hold your mouth just right to get them to work. And again, if you're working on any of these, graphite's a good solution for working on them. And you know, they interlock. And this is the cleanest batch I've ever made. They're all almost exactly the same, and they came together just really nice and tight. I was kind of my own enemy with the glue, putting a little bit too much glue on the box joints of the outer boxes. They had a little bit of an issue, and then on 1 or 2 of these at the very top, I had a little bit too much glue at the top, which was causing me to have one thing that was out. But other than that, they all came together pretty good. Looking good. And it is now almost 5 o'clock, and we're good to go. So this old sander, this is my second one. I burnt the capacitor out of the other one and thought it was kabunk until I bought this one, and then I started looking and investigating and found this capacitor inside that was obviously blown, so I replaced it for about $7 and then gave that one to my son-in-law. So anyway, it's a good sander. We use them all the time, Pinewood Derby. When I got a bunch of real square sanding I want to do, like on those boxes where I just turned it on a square face, this right here is an excellent tool. This one here has a tendency to take your boxes and throw them off to the side. It'll kick them off to the side. And so that other one with the belt sander going down straight, it keeps that from happening, and they don't go flying across the room. So, you know, as long as you keep it on the table and keep turning it, works out better. So that's why I use that thing for some real heavy duty sanding. Works good, and that's the advantage over the other one. All right, time to go in the house. All right, on this file and these good old things that we've been working on, I'm going to put a couple notes in here. And number one is not to set a good old-fashioned do not put a toggle here. Okay, let's just take that right there, click close, and we'll just put that down here on the end of that right there, and that'll remind me that. And also a note to check. Let's write another note over here, and we'll call this one check your rapid Z between settings, because I'm lasering, and I'm also I'm just going to put that right over here on the side of that file. Of course, they won't get done anything to them, but anyway, that's good. I think that's pretty much it. I do have a couple of these laser settings that I do need to go in and tweak them out, but I don't think I'll do that right here on the screen. I have a couple that I still need to